So, in our talk today, we'll be looking at this precious human form that we have each taken. And the purpose of regular reflection on the four thoughts is to wake us up from distraction and complacency, to engage in the potency of practice, which allows us to awaken. And the four thoughts that we are contemplating include the preciousness of human form, the impermanence, karma, are the results of our actions, and the fourth one is the sufferings of samsara. So this time we'll be looking at the lines, this precious human form is difficult to obtain and embodies opportunities and resources. Give me the energy to realize its potential. So when people of all ages see a baby, there is an immediate knowing of the preciousness of the human form. There's such a desire to connect and help this little being awaken and be in life. And our hearts open and, we just know the miracle of life. And observing Dia, my granddaughter, over the first 7 months of her life, I've also come to really see the difficulties that come with incarnating. We enter this human life with so little control over our bodies. And all of Dia's activities are unconsciously, but very purposefully aimed to gain skillful use of her physical form. Muscles and the mind-body connection gradually develop to allow her intentions to direct her limbs as she works to become upright and mobile. And she has had to struggle to learn to grasp a spoon and get that spoon to her mouth instead of over here or up here, any place that it might land. And so it's this whole process of gaining control of the body. And while nursing and hearing the vibrational sounds of her mother tongue, she gradually works to form sounds that become communication. And all of these developments take effort. And as I watch Dia develop, I see her process of incarnating is motivated by this it's very perceptible stream of life force. It's like a driving will to gain the skillfulness within form. And in being with her, I've come to recognize anew this stream of life force within myself. And though I've lived unaware of its presence, I realize that this driving will doesn't leave the body until death. And rather, it is a continuous resource motivating the development of my potential. The same force which motivated my becoming upright and learning to walk and talk also is available to motivate my awakening. So human life is difficult to obtain, and it's very easy to lose. And what are the opportunities we are given when we take human form? Having lived inside of and been conditioned by duality and a materialistic worldview, I've wondered over these opportunities and resources when I say this verse. Are they physical skills? Are they psychic abilities? Are they skills of interacting with creation through the subtle realms? My materialistic education certainly shut down access to the subtle and psychic realms, and that reopening them has been a main motivation for spiritual practice. And recently, I've come to focus on developing the skill of understanding, which arises with the practice of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Having the teachings needed to develop these capacities and the level of understanding which arises out of them is an amazing opportunity. In fact, I've come to think that Gaia's survival rests on our living through this level of understanding. So Tibetan Buddhism recognizes that human life is endowed with certain freedoms and abilities, and that having access to the Buddha's teachings and the opportunity to practice them is especially important. If we find ourselves in such favorable conditions and we do not practice, then having access to the teachings doesn't do us any good. It is actually our effort to apply the Dharma that sustains the preciousness of life. And Thich Nhat Hanh taught that simply being alive and breathing in and out is a miracle. He said to have conditions of relative safety, health, and spiritual curiosity is an immense gift. And so I just put out the prayer that through our shared practice, we may sustain the preciousness of life.